I would like to announce that a quorum is present. The meeting is duly called, and notice of the meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. The time is now 6:03 p.m. In order to maintain social distancing and other health protocols at public gatherings, a limited number of staff and community members will be in-person attendees at this evening's regular board meeting. The following board members are in attendance: Tracy Miller, Allison Lasan, Angie Cox, Christy Hassett, Jenny Prosnick, and Catherine Sells. First up on the agenda tonight is our board election information, and we will consider and take action with respect to canvassing the May 1st, 2021 Board of Trustees election. On this 10th day of May 2021, the Board of Trustees of the Lewisville Independent School District convened in regular session with the following board members present: Angie Cox, Christy Hassett, Allison Lasan, Tracy Scott Miller, Jenny Prosnick, and Catherine Sells. And all members were present and constituting a quorum, and among other proceedings had by said Board of Trustees were the following. There came to be heard the returns of the trustee election held on the first day of May 2021 for the purpose of electing 2 members to the Board of Trustees, one for place 1 and one for place 2, and said returns of the trustee election having been duly canvassed by the Board of Trustees and there being cast at said election the following votes. For place 1, a total of 16,292 votes were cast, which each of the candidates for said place 1 receiving the following votes to wit: Buddy Bonner, votes cast 9,202. Paige Dixon, combined total of votes cast 7,090 for a total of 16,292. For place 2, a total of 15,706 votes were cast, which each of the candidates for said place 2 receiving the following votes to wit: Allison Lasan, combined total of votes cast was 8,112. Sheila P. Taylor, combined total of votes cast was 7,594 for a total of 15,706 total votes cast. And it appearing to the Board of Trustees in the said board so finding that Buddy Bonner received the highest number of votes cast for place 1 and that Allison Lasan received the highest number of votes cast for place 2. It is therefore found and declared and so ordered by the Board of Trustees of the Lewisville Independent School District that the above trustee election was duly called, that notice of said election was duly posted, and that said election was held in accordance with law, and that at said election, Buddy Bonner and Allison Lasan were elected to said Board of Trustees, subject to taking the oath of office. It is further found and determined that written notice of the date, place, and subject of this meeting was posted on the bulletin board used for posting notices of the meetings of the Board of Trustees in a place convenient and readily accessible to the general public, and said notice having been so posted remained posted for the time required by law to precede the scheduled time of said meeting. The above order being read, it was moved and seconded. That's what we're going to do now. So I'm going to stop right now. So, based on the results from the Denton County and Tarrant County, I move that the board adopt the order, or can I make this motion? Where's Ms. Deanne? Ms. Bay. I can, correct? Okay. Based on the results from Denton County and Tarrant County, I move that the board adopt the order declaring the results of the election, electing Buddy Bonner to place 1 and Allison Lasan to place 2, subject to taking the oath of office. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Cox. All in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Justice of the Peace, Judge James Curbo will now administer oaths of office to the newly elected board members. Judge Curbo, would you come forward?
Hello, and thank you for allowing me to be here with you today.
Thank you for being here.
I would not miss it for the world.
It's an honor. Yeah, you can do it.
At the same time? Makes it double official.
There you go.
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, state your name, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of School Board Trustee for Lewisville Independent School District, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God. Congratulations.
I'm not in the picture. Yes, if your family. Yes, introduce them, please. We will now convene into closed session as authorized by Texas Government Code Section 551, specifically 551.071, 072, and 074, and the time is now 6:11 p.m. Thank you so much. Okay. Make sure. Okay. We will now reconvene into open session, and the time is now 7:01 p.m. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. The Lewisville ISD Board of Trustees meets monthly to receive reports from staff and take action on recommendations from the superintendent. The board receives the agenda and all supporting documentation 10 days in advance of these regular meetings, which allows us to ask and receive answers to many of our questions. In addition, the board also meets in regularly scheduled workshops and work sessions where staff discussions and presentations are given for many of the agenda items. This protocol means lengthy discussions or a litany of questions on every agenda item often is not necessary, and as a board, we should have appropriate knowledge and preparation for responses regarding the content of our meeting tonight. The first order of business is to reorganize the board and elect officers. Board President, that's me. Would someone like to make a motion regarding the board president?
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
I move to nominate Tracy Scott Miller as board president.
Okay, do I have a second? Ms. Hassett is the second. All in favor? Motion carries, and now we have 7-0. Okay, Mr. Miller, congratulations, and I am going to switch places with you right now and leave this agenda for you.
Thank you, President Sells. We're going to finish the election of our officers, and we'll take a short recess for us to just get readjusted in our seats. Board Vice President, would someone like to make a motion regarding the Board Vice President? Ms. Cox? Do I have a second? I'm just reading the document here properly. Okay, I have a motion for Ms. Prosnick and a second a motion from Ms. Cox, a second from Ms. Hassett. All in favor say aye. 2 in favor. Any opposed? 4, an abstention? You said aye? Okay. Fails 4-3. Do I have a motion? Another motion? Well, in the absence of no activity, I'll make a motion myself. Ms. Lasan, would you like to be Vice President?
Yes, I would accept that nomination.
As such, I move to nominate Ms. Catherine Sells as Board Vice President.
Oh, no, Allison Lasan.
I'm sorry, Allison Lasan. I've had this problem all day. Tracy, and then I need a second. Ms. Hassett, I got that right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, Board Secretary, would someone like to? Oh, it's 7-1. 6-5. I'm sorry.
6-1.
6-1. Board Secretary. Would someone like to make a motion regarding the Board Secretary?
I will. I move to nominate Ms. Catherine Sells as our Board Secretary.
Ms. Cox, motion. Second?
Second.
I think Ms. Hassett got you there. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That was a Christie, that was an aye, right? Motion passes 7-0. Board's going to take just a 2-minute recess.
Grab all my stuff. So, I go where Alice? We don't have to move. Oh, yes, I got it.
All right, let me welcome the new officers. We're back in session, and my watch is dead, so Ms. Riggle. 7:10. Welcome to the new board officers. Welcome, Dr. Bonner, to the board. This will be an interesting perch for you to have on what happens in public education, and we're excited about what you'll bring to the table. I'm sure you'll be shy for a couple meetings. And then welcome Ms. Lasan for congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
With that said, we'll consider action on items discussed in closed session, personnel recommendations, approval of superintendent contract. Would someone like to make a motion? Would someone like to make a motion? Okay.
I move that the board approve the superintendent contract.
Second? That's it? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Superintendent update, Dr. Rogers. A lot to cover here.
A lot to cover. Thank you, Mr. Miller, Board. We appreciate the opportunity to continue to serve. So, our monthly superintendent update. School days still continue, and our kids are doing great things, our staff doing great things, and yet we are really excited in 8.5 days to call this year wrapped. Come on. Just advance it over there. Really proud, none of us really looked forward to having 2 years in a row to cancel a traditional prom, and yet our campuses just did amazing things to continue to celebrate their seniors, juniors too. Everything from what they called MORP, which was proms, of course, spelled backward, to prom paloozas, to all types of things. So we just greatly appreciate our principals, all of our staff, to help celebrate our students. So our monthly COVID-19 update, as the board is aware, and we did send out an announcement earlier today that effective Monday, June 21st, masks will be optional at all LISD facilities, and most level orange restrictions in place this year will be removed. As we know, and I know the board's very well aware, and I know our guest, Dr. Richardson's very well aware, there's a wide range of opinions on this topic, and we certainly want to honor those parents that want to continue to have their children wear masks, so masks will be optional. The final decision regarding restrictions before school starts is completely dependent on the health-related circumstances in our communities in late July and early August. And I think you're going to hear some great news from Dr. Richardson, but at the same time, we know that if things spike, then we will certainly reconsider what needs to happen. We certainly hope that's not the case, and we will continue consulting with Denton County Public Health in the future. So with that, I'd like to first off welcome Dr. Matt Richardson with Denton County Public Health Department, and I know I speak for the board and LISD and our community, just cannot express enough our gratitude for the assistance that they provided us, but really our entire county. And of course, as all of us know, they have received all types of accolades with the incredible job that they've done at Texas Motor Speedway with the vaccination clinics. I mean, they've really led the nation in the process, and so for that, Matt, I'm very appreciative. So, Dr. Richardson, it's all yours.
Dr. Rogers and Mr. President, board members, thank you so much for a little time this evening, and I just want to commend Lewisville ISD. You have been a stalwart partner in this response. It has been an incredibly long 15 months for everyone, and yet I just can't say enough that our education partners have really gone above and beyond, and you have protected staff, students, you've protected the community through your efforts. And Dr. Rogers, your partnership, truly critical. And so I just want to say thank you. I think we're going to celebrate some things tonight. We're going to look at some data, but we really just want to say thank you for that partnership. And a partnership is a word that's used a lot. I think it's kind of the hashtag 2020, 2021 term of the year, and yet I don't know. It's what it is, and that is that you all have continued to support students and teachers and education as safely as possible, and you're to be commended. So thank you so much for that. Tonight I'm going to share some information. It can all be found on our website at dentoncounty.gov. You just go to dentoncounty.gov. There's a splash page. That front page has a button that says COVID-19 stats, and you can actually go to that web page and find all of the data I'm going to mention, except one slide, and we'll talk about that when we get there. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to present the COVID-19 transmission status in Denton County. We're going to look at some historical information. I'm going to tell you where we are today. We're going to talk about vaccination efforts. We're going to talk about, I'm sure, as the trustees probably have seen on your phones today, that the Pfizer vaccine has been authorized by the FDA for 12 to 15-year-olds. It is still pending approval by ACIP, which is the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practice, and then the CDC. We anticipate that approval on Wednesday. I got an email shortly before this meeting that said once the CDC approves it, the State Health Department also approves that for the state of Texas. So once CDC gives the green light, it's going to be quite a green light and much activity to resume. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and go over a quick PowerPoint, and I want to share that, and then here's hoping. Dr. Rogers, can you see this PowerPoint?
Yes, we can.
Outstanding. Okay. We're going to go through the information that we have on our website, and then I'm happy to answer any questions as you have them. As of today, this information was pulled off our website at 4 p.m. We have 506 total deaths. We have just under 75,000 total cases. You can see those are molecular confirmed and antigen confirmed cases in those recoveries. Almost 75,000 cases. None of us anticipated that this pandemic would get this big. I think it's still surreal for those of us in public health and maybe for everyone on the planet. But this continues to boggle the mind that we have had this many deaths in Denton County. I do want to mention the deaths. Deaths are reviewed by our staff, our chief epidemiologist, our medical director, in many cases myself. What we do is we confirm the test result for that individual is expired, and then we document with their medical record or interviews or both progression of disease. And so our deaths that are reported in Denton County are validated and verified every time. So those aren't estimates, those aren't assumptions. We actually have medical documentation for every one of those reported passings. So I do want to highlight that. Lots of questions on that occasionally. Our hospital capacity is something we have monitored from the beginning. Infrastructure in healthcare is very important. If you need to have a heart attack, a baby, or a stroke, you need a hospital bed. And as you can, as all of us can remember, hospital beds were in short supply in the Northeast and in the Northwest at the beginning of the pandemic. And honestly, over the holidays, became in short supply in Denton County. So we do monitor this. This information is updated, again, every day on our website. And you can see we're in pretty good shape. We have a little bit of margin in our ICUs. You can see we're 2/3 full in our hospital beds all across the county, and we've got plenty of ventilators available. This has been important, and this remains good news. We've had lots of capacity in our hospitals for several months now, and that's something to be celebrated as we move forward. Hospital capacity, and we talk about percent of COVID-19 patients in our hospitals for occupied beds and staffed beds. So those beds that have a staff member assigned, think of them as open beds. We monitor along with the state daily of the COVID-19 percentage of that capacity. It got as high in Denton County as 27%. So 27% of all hospital beds were occupied by COVID patients. That number has now dwindled to under 5%. We're at about 4.5%. And the region for the Metroplex is at about 3.5%. So we're just a little above the regional average in Denton County, but we are still far, far, far below our pandemic high of almost 28%. And we're going to continue to monitor this. And again, this information is on our website daily. Okay, this is probably one of my favorite charts. We have moved this chart. You can see there's a gray line on this slide, and it's got a little button. On our website, you can manipulate this button to your preference to look over the entire history of the pandemic. I have chosen to take a snapshot of March the 21st through May the 1st, just to show you recent trends in COVID-19. This is the week of onset of illness. So this is not how many cases we report every day. This is how many people got sick based on the lab results that we have that week, okay? So it's the week of onset of illness. That's probably the most accurate measure and metric when you talk about COVID-19 transmission. It is a little bit delayed. It's about 2 weeks delayed because we are interviewing people. We are still doing contact tracing. And so we interview people and ask them when they were ill. If they do not return our calls, then we use the date of the test performed as the onset of illness, absent an interview and a statement from the patient. Okay, so you can see March 21st through March 27th, we had about 560 cases that were the onset of that week. We are down to April 25th to May the 1st, so a week and a half ago, we are just right at 400 cases, okay? So we're right at 400 cases. We were at 550 5 weeks ago. So that's good news. We are trending down. It is an ever so slight trend downward, but we're going to take it. We are going to take it. Vaccination is obviously part of the success. Herd immunity, our race to herd immunity, is obviously increasing. And so I think all of these things, ill and recovered, plus the immunized, make up the bulk of that immune population. And as that percentage rises, you're going to see fewer and fewer cases. There's a huge caveat to this, and that is as long as a variant does not defeat a prior immunity from an infection or defeat our current vaccine. The B117 variant is the majority virus that's circulating in the state of Texas and the nation. The state of Texas, we're probably at 2/3 or maybe even a little more of a percentage of COVID-19 that's circulating as the B117. That is the UK variant from several months ago. The vaccine appears to be protective against that variant for the vast majority of patients. And prior immunity from COVID-19 infection also seems to be protective against this circulating variant. That's good news. That is good news. Okay, here's some other good news. This is the slide I mentioned. This is not on our website. This is a daily post on the Texas Department of State Health Services website. If you go into their information, you can toggle through different charts and graphs, and this one is based on positivity rates for clinics reporting their negatives and positives to the State Health Department. And based on those reports, you can see there's kind of a charcoal gray line and then sort of a yellow greenish line. The gray line is molecular collection, that's PCR tests. The yellowish line is the antigen test or the rapid tests that are not sent off to a lab. Think like the pregnancy test or the flu test that happen in an office that are not hooked up to a computer. So the antigen test and the molecular test, the positivity rates are decreasing. Again, ever so slightly. That is also good news. So 4 out of every 100 tests performed in Texas are positive. And that is way down from a pandemic high of almost 27%. So 27 out of 100 being positive. Now we're down to just over 4 on the PCR test and just over 2 for the antigen test. That's excellent. It's still not zero. We're still having positives, but it is improving. Let's talk about our vaccinations. We have a wait list at Denton County for our hub, our vaccine hub. That wait list, we had received 507,414 people asking for a vaccine, and those people, every single person, has been previously invited to one of our clinics. Not all of them chose to come, but they have all been invited as of 9 a.m. this morning. So that's good news. We are not behind at all. Our final vaccine clinic at Texas Motor Speedway is going to be this Friday. We're going to do a lot of second doses this Friday. We had some second doses due. And the brutal honest truth is there's not a lot of demand for vaccine for our wait list. There are so many providers now that do have access to vaccine, lots and lots of pharmacies, national pharmacy chains, and so we're seeing minimal vaccine interest. I do anticipate that's going to change because of the new licensure that's being discussed on Wednesday. So again, the CDC is going to take the FDA's recommendation, ACIP, that Advisory Committee on Immunization Practice. That committee is going to meet on Wednesday, and I anticipate that they will approve the vaccine, and CDC will rubber stamp that. Texas has already sent that email today saying that as soon as CDC is approved, then the vaccine will be approved in the state of Texas, and all 12 to 15-year-olds will be eligible. But you can see our vaccine process has accelerated. All right, I've just talked to you about the Friday clinic. That's that final clinic at TMS. And then we see that Thursday, May 20th, we have a clinic coming up, and we're going to be announcing the times for that clinic. Okay, I am going to stop sharing my screen if I'm adept enough. Hey, maybe I did. All right, so I'm happy to answer any questions you have about anything we've talked about, and feel free to pitch me a fastball, and I'll do my best.
Okay, we're going to go around the board from right to left. So start with Ms. Brosnick.
Dr. Richardson, thank you so much for being here tonight. I have had the pleasure and the opportunity of volunteering out at Texas Motor Speedway on several occasions. It was an excellent volunteer experience, and it was a very well-oiled machine. So your group gets lots of kudos for that.
Thanks for.
My question is about metrics. In 2009, we closed schools here in Lewisville ISD for swine flu. I called it and I thought that was the longest spring break until last year. I want to know, when we are looking at the metrics, I want to know exactly what we're looking at for return to normal. We are going to have masks optional next year, but I want to know about what the Denton County health advice is going to be and what metric you're exactly looking at.
Yeah, I wish I could just give you just a simple one. We all want a simple one. Unfortunately, that's not the way biology works. We don't have crisp, clear, concise, cogent formulas. What we have are historical information, which I've just presented to you. So you see the trends. You can see what's happened historically and where we're trending based on the past. India is a good example. Brazil is a good example. There are examples of breakouts of a new variant, mutations in the genetic component of the pathogen. And the crystal ball, unfortunately, is broken. We don't know when or if those things happen. So what we have to do is we have to take our best estimates, again, based on the information that we already have. The information that we have right now is we're trending down. Hospitalizations have plateaued. You can see that the variants, we have had variants cultured, and we know what they are in Texas, and the majority is that B117. And previous research has shown that the vaccine is somewhat, if not predominantly protective of that variant. We have those fewer cases being reported. We have some immunity from the most prevalent variant. That's all good news. If you're asking for a date or a week or even a month that it looks exactly like 2019, we can't get it.
No, I'm not.
We can tell you that those metrics, as we still watch them trend down, what we're going to see is we're going to see if the variants take over, and if they don't, and if the vaccine proves as effective as it has been, and as we do get further and further to herd immunity, those cases are going to trend down to where there's going to be a handful. And I would say that that is as close to normal as we would get. And we're hopeful that that would be in the summer months.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'd mentioned, you did ask about those metrics. I think that positivity rate is important. Having 4 positives out of every 100 reported. you can see that's getting us in Denton County, that's getting us, 400 cases a week. I think as that positivity decreases, that's good news, and that should trend along with our hospitalizations and the new cases. So I think positivity also part of that.
So is there a number you're looking for?
Yeah, 0.
0.
I think we're all looking for that. I think
Is 0, I will ask you this, is 0 realistic?
probably not. It depends on the variance. I would think it's not realistic, and yet we have been at 0 before the outbreak, and so we're hoping that these vaccines can continue to be effective against variants. If the pathogen's not allowed to mutate, and if we continue our march to herd immunity and get an immune population, that's going to continue to decrease. And as fewer and fewer cases happen, and more people are protected, it's harder and harder for there to be what we call breakthrough outbreaks. Think measles, right? We haven't had a case of measles in Denton County in several years. Mumps are very few and far between. And so when there are just a few cases that pop, we have an immune population because of our vaccination status for mumps, measles. So we're hoping to get to that place. So if you do have just a flare-up, it's put out quickly because the population is essentially immune. That's where we're trying to get to.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you to Dr. Richardson for being here tonight, and also have had the pleasure of multiple days being out at the Speedway. In fact, I'm sporting a sunburn from last Friday, but I was also there on the beginning of the Ice-Mageddon in February, on the February 12th, where we could only be outside for about 20 minutes and then had to go in a bus to warm up.
We have a rule at Denton County Public Health. We don't talk about 212. That's some of the worst number ever. I mean, our vaccinators with their hands just about frozen to the bone. That was miserable, so bless you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, you know what, though? Every day is a blessing out there, and I meet more people from all walks of life across Denton County who it doesn't matter where they stand politically. It doesn't stand really where they stand on the mask. I mean, we do wear masks out there, but they have a variety of just wealth of knowledge and just commitment to Denton County. And so I just wanted to say thank you for being here tonight, but also thank you for having that opportunity. When the clinics do stop, and I know that we're going to push those vaccines out to doctors and our other pharmacies, at what time would there ever be the need for more of the vaccination clinics that we've had here since this is happening? Maybe a new population that's going to have vaccinations approved, or maybe a third booster, I guess, for better term. Would there be ever a time that Denton County would open those clinics back up?
Sure. Thanks for your question. And I probably need to be more clear on that. We are really moving from this hub situation where, and thank you both for volunteering. As our volunteers have known, we broke a record last week where we gave 17,000 in one day. So very much we are trying to get as many needles and arms as possible, and that was the overriding priority. And now we are moving to vulnerable populations and really trying to find pockets of high vulnerability and low access and take vaccine to them. One of the things we've done is we've had conversations with superintendents, and Dr. Rogers has been at the forefront of that conversation. We've talked about over the summer months, really beginning early June, having some access to schools in some of those neighborhoods who have a low vaccination rate and a high vulnerability index. And we're looking at some of those schools for some of these smaller clinics, and we're really going to decentralize our efforts. So it's been centralized so we can do 17,000 in a day. We're actually going to flip that. Now we're going to focus on access and really the populations that are vulnerable in these neighborhoods and communities for whatever reason that had a low vaccine uptake. So that's kind of a transition for us, and that's going to happen after Memorial Day because schools are still in session. And we're we're working, for instance, we did recently a refugee clinic. We've done clinics for the homeless. We have worked on homebound patients. So we've already transitioned some away from the hubs. We're going to continue to do that. But we do reserve the right to change. And so if something happens, if a variant takes hold, if one of the vaccines, I know Moderna and Pfizer both are adjusting their vaccine to address new variants, and if that became necessary for a booster in the later summer months or the early fall, we'll just we'll do what we've already done. We're really hoping that's not necessary, but if so, we'll buckle down and we'll get it done. But right now, our plan for the summer is to sort of decentralize. The hub will no longer be the priority, and the community focus will be the priority based on vulnerability and access. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for being here, Dr. Richardson, and thank you for being so available to Dr. Rogers and his staff. I know that you guys have had, I think it was pretty much weekly meetings for a long time, maybe not so much now, but you know, you've really helped us and helped us to, you know, do a lot of what our policies, you know, on facts, and we're just so appreciative for that. You've been a great partner, so thank you for that. My question is, you know, and this is sort of general, is, so do you foresee the COVID vaccine being kind of like the flu shot, like it's something that you just kind of get every year, or what are you thinking for that?
It's a good question. It's one we all have, and it really is, and I use measles because I think that's one of the best examples. Is it going to be like the flu, that COVID-19, this coronavirus, it's the seventh known human coronavirus, is this going to vary so much? Is there going to be what we call the mutagenic drift? Is the genetic components of what makes this pathogen unique, is it going to change over time, or is it going to remain fairly similar? The measles, one of the great things about the measles is it doesn't change much. And why is that? Well, because not very many people get it. And so if you think through, you have so few cases of the measles that it doesn't have time to genetically mutate. And so those of us that got vaccinated with an MMR over and over, maybe 3 doses of an MMR, we remain immune, and the population remains immune. That's what we're hoping for. However, one of the problems is that if you have a third of the U.S. population or a third of the global population who chooses not to get the vaccine, well, then you have an immunologically naive group. And so that pathogen then has people that it can burn through and change. That's bad. So I think the question is it going to change fast enough that people even with prior infection or people with a prior vaccine, they're no longer immune, or is it going to change very slowly? If it changes very slowly, then we have a chance. We have a chance of not needing a booster, and we have a chance of this becoming more something like the mumps, and it won't be like the flu. A quarter of the globe gets influenza every year. And so imagine how many copies of one virus that is. Imagine taking a piece of paper and putting it on a copy machine and now making 30 comma and now 60 zeros behind the 30. Imagine that number of copies. That's why the flu virus changes so much, and we have to get a new flu shot every year because the virus and the infections have actually changed so substantially, your immune system doesn't recognize it. So that's the question before us. Is COVID-19 going to change so much that our immune system, our antibodies, they don't get it? Or is it going to remain close enough to the same that our immune system recognizes it and can fight it every time we're exposed? Again, chickenpox. That's the goal. And unfortunately, we don't know yet because we're still seeing these variants. But we should know more, I would say, in 60 to 90 days as more variants happen and as we have more information about immunity from the vaccine.
Thank you.
Kind of hedged there, didn't I?
No, I mean, that's a very good explanation. I haven't heard that, so thank you for that. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Richardson, thank you very much. My wife and I did make it out to the racetrack, not at the time that Ms. Sells or Ms. Prosnick were there, but we got the Pfizer vaccine, and one was 8 in the morning, and one was 1 in the afternoon. It was a fantastic experience, and I hope you appreciate that Dr. Rogers didn't let scrolling comments go along on the side, which is something you're accustomed to seeing, so it allowed us to be a little more efficient. But thank you for answering tough questions. We know that this season you've been under fire for trying to pivot from the science, and we've all of a sudden had a surge of scientists in the world that stayed at Holiday Inn Express one evening, and so we just appreciate the fact that you'd come out here at this time and just be honest with us and upfront. So thank you upfront about what's going on. So thank you very much.
President Miller, I will say it's been funny. Epidemiologists, classically trained epidemiologists with a master's degree in public health and epidemiology, they are so hard to find. Little did I know that Facebook could create them instantaneously. So that's been helpful. I will no longer have to worry about an applicant pool.
Well, thank you very much. Stay dry.
Thanks, Matt.
Hey, thank y'all.
Dr. Rogers, are you going to do a legislative update?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Okay.
So real quick, just to sort of update you, as Dr. Richardson said, continues to be good news in LISD too, but still, I think it's important to understand that we still have new student and staff cases every day, every week. This is as of May 7th, last Friday, but a week ago today, we had our regular COVID call center call, and there were like 6 cases that day. Some students, some staff, and so that still requires us to contact trace, to quarantine, and of course we remind our staff and of course would remind parents too that once you do have the vaccine, of course you don't have to quarantine anymore. So we're hoping with the announcement of the 12 to 15 more students get that and then go from there, but of course that's always an individual's choice. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sean Sheehan, who is going to update the board on a monthly legislative update.
Good evening, Dr. Rogers. Good evening, board members. I know it's a very busy slide there. I appear before you slightly more well-rested than I was this time last month, now that my son is a month and 6 days old. So it's a very busy slide, but it's just the one slide. And to help indicate, if you look, the yellow asterisk is next to a bill because it has passed in that originating chamber. So HBs have passed already in the House and SBs have passed in the Senate. And then a exclamation mark is a potentially harmful bill for us, Lewisville ISD. They're organized, if you could kind of picture a grid. Sorry, these are just the first two. No, these are the first two of our 4 cornerstones. And so they're organized based on our legislative priorities by the cornerstone. So I'll speak to the student learning one first, where we talked about comprehensive accountability. HB 764 aims to take the state testing down to the federal minimum. There will be a transition process up until 2025, I believe. HB 773 adds successful career and technology education program completion as a performance indicator for high schools. HB 1603 makes the individual graduation committees permanent. HB 3270 and SB 1365, which are the same bill, greatly expand the commissioner's authority. Note that HB 3270 appears to have died. I say appears to because stuff can always pop up, but so that may move forward through SB 1365. That's probably the most likely path for that one to succeed if it does. And then HB 4545, we're hearing a lot about outcomes-based funding. So the trick of tying funding to how our students perform on our lovely tests. Our second subpoint is expanding CCMR definitions. So we have HB 1147, which adds the Texas National Guard to CCMR provisions. Good news for us. And then it's not making any progress, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does. HB 3204 indicates that if a high school graduate, is making a certain salary level, and they haven't indicated what that level is, but, a fair amount, I guess, then they could be considered career ready. So also good news for us is we were looking for more definitions to be included in CCMR. What does it take for our students to be college and career ready after they graduate from here? Shifting over to student experience. For school safety, we have the focus is largely on student health and wellness. You'll see on the second subpoint, but specifically there's SB 168 outlines some criteria for active shooter drills. So the short of it being that they want to ensure that there's an advance notice if there is a realistic simulation that's going to take place, and then we'll make sure those drills are age appropriate. So how it would look at the elementaries would be different than the high schools. And then SB 2050 really gets in the weeds into defining bullying, but for you all as a body, we have a definition and a policy for prohibiting bullying. 2050 would require you all to create policy on preventing and mediating bullying, and then we would be required to report it through PEMS now too. So that's making a lot of progress as well, so watch for that one. I'll be watching for it for you as well. So mental health and wellness. Given the pandemic year, of course, HB 332 allows for compensatory education funds to be used for social and emotional learning. It's good news for us. HB 699 would allow for excused absences for severe illnesses. HB 2954, TEA would establish an optional prevention, intervention, or post-vention elementary program. SB 179, which is getting a lot of coverage, would require that counselors spend 80% of their time actually counseling. If a school district couldn't meet that, then they would have to outline why, and they do clearly define that time spent on testing and proctoring it and all of those things does not count towards that 80%. One might consider maybe if 764 makes way, then that might free up some of the counselor time. And then SB 279, student ID cards would be required to have suicide prevention information, so like a hotline on the back side of it. If we can go to the next slide, please. So resource stewardship. We went into this when we were drafting our legislative priorities. We were concerned about HB3 funding, and we're in a very different spot following Comptroller Hager's revised budget revenue estimate. We are now up in the green, $725 million. In January, we were possibly $1 billion shortfall. So that's good news. What I would advise you all is that we're probably not going to see any kind of increase in spending for public education related to the maintenance of effort tied to the ESSER fund. So that was the holdup. And so now we're probably just going to plateau and stay the same. We'll see though. And then of course COVID-19 funding, that was the thing that we were looking for, and it would appear that we can check those boxes with ESSER 3, not so much 1. What I would want to remind this body is that watch for that talking point that schools want the money but not the accountability. It keeps coming up in the hearings, so I just wanted to flag that for you all, especially as we're talking about HB 2094 and 4545, which I had flagged for you on outcomes-based funding. Last cornerstone of ours, community engagement. Educational equity, SB 28 is on, would require charters to be considered similar to ISDs for zoning purposes. And there are a lot of bills that take little chunks of SB 28 and try to move it forward. So we're watching for that too, but they all seem to be just kind of floating in limbo. And then the big one, virtual learning. So Dr. Biganaho, the director of our VLA, and I are under the impression that SB 27 is dead and that HB 1468 will be the thing that moves forward. That does really check the boxes for Lewisville ISD. The previous versions that we've seen, there's still time for it to run through the Senate and change a lot. So we'll watch that closely. SB 2226 would require new teachers in colleges of education to be receiving training on virtual instruction, rightfully so. SB 348 would allow parental access to the recordings to virtual instruction and to virtual materials. And last bit would be SB 1171 and HB 3261. Those are the same following HB 3096 that we transitioned to electronic assessments, and that just provides for those. We are following other ones, of course. We're entering the last 3 weeks of session. This is where that hyperpartisanship takes place. And then some of the things that aren't really related to our legislative priorities, but we're still watching, of course, our SB 215, that there would be an inspector general in the Texas Education Agency. HB 3557, so that whole red shirt bill where parents could elect for their students to repeat a year. We I give it the sports analogy because you also have to think about the sports component of that. And then HB 1068, where possibly employees could use, if they had a remaining balance, they could use access paid holiday leave. So like a school district would want to consider that in their finances. So I'm happy to answer any questions that the board may have for me related to any of our legislative priorities and any bills that are making progress.
Thank you, Sean.
Ms. Hassett? Was that, oh, no.
Me? Okay, I just have a comment. I just appreciate the work that you're doing. It's greatly appreciated, and as we head to the last 2 weeks, I just hope that you'll continue to email us to keep us abreast of, the information that you've been providing. Thank you very much.
I'd just like to say that I appreciate that when you're presenting this, that you actually tie them to our priorities, and that it's easy to see for our community how our priorities are impacted by these bills. So I do appreciate that. And I know that there's some other bills out there that some of our community partners are concerned about. So I would just encourage anybody listening to this or online that to reach out. I know that there are some that the Texas PTA is concerned about, and for anybody that doesn't know, we are a PTA district, and we truly honor and support the partnership that we have with the PTAs. And I'm sure there's others. We have communities and schools of North Texas here in our audience tonight. And so as anything comes out, I just would encourage our community to not only look at our priority goals, but also those nonprofits that have a great impact in our community to also be supporters of those too. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, and just for anyone watching, lisd.net/legislative, you can find our legislative priorities. And yeah, there are a lot of bills to cover, but I was just speaking to the ones that sync up with our 4 cornerstones and the priorities that we have established as a district.
Thank you. I have 2 comments, really. Could you explain to the board 2 different things? The timeline for the House this week and how we're having, how the bills are being pushed through, and then also the new edict from Chair Dutton on public education and how he's not hearing bills any further, and how that would impact Senate bills as they come across.
Yeah, so in the House side, the Senate doesn't have the same kind of strict deadlines that the House does. On the House side, bills have to be read for a second time by Thursday at midnight, and then that's pretty much it for them. As far as Chair Dutton, and I don't want to editorialize too much, so I would just say that things are, in general, anything is still up for grabs, and
It's that he's not hearing bills coming over from the Senate in a formal public hearing. He will hear them as a committee and vote them out, but not in a typical sense. They're allowed in the House rules this year to do so, and so bills can come out in a different way than normal. And with the timeline also, like the HB 4545, if it isn't heard, the outcome-based funding bill that I'm not a big fan of, we're not a big fan of, if it isn't heard by a second time on Thursday, it's dead.
Yep.
So some of the bills that we don't want could be dead by Thursday.
Thank you, Ms. Hassett.
Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
Persons desiring to address the Board of Trustees will fill out a speaker's card. No presentation shall exceed 3 minutes. The board cannot deliberate on any subject that is not included in the agenda. Please know we ask each speaker to conduct themselves in an orderly fashion as they address the board. Have any cards? Oh, okay.
Ms. Riggle?
Ms. Seal?
Can I take this off?
Sure.
Okay. Well, first, I would like to just give a sincere thank you to you all, to the school board. I know this has been a very difficult year, and I really do appreciate your service. I know you're all volunteers up here, aside from Dr. Rogers. And I really just want to say thank you, first of all. But also, I would like to talk about school operations for next year and hopefully shed some light on parents' frustrations this year. After the vaccine was made available to the general public, I emailed the school board asking what else needs to change for LISD to open up, and if LISD is relying solely on the recommendation of Denton County Public Health. One board member replied and said, and they confirmed that you are in fact relying solely on Denton County Public Health, but also that they did not know what Dr. Richardson's metrics were, which, thank you so much, Jenny, for asking that question. That is what is frustrating to me and many other parents, is we don't have a metric where we can see, hey, when it's this, we're going to have to wear a mask, and when it's this, then we're going to get to take our mask off. And so we've kind of just gone through this year with unknowns, not knowing. And so I'm kind of hoping that next year, if masks are required, that we would have just some sort of idea of what to expect, and we don't have to be going through the year with all of these unknowns with our children. So I'm looking for a recommendation in writing and scientific data that can be actively measured and monitored. I found out this week that people who receive the COVID vaccine have a 0.0003% chance of developing symptomatic COVID. By August, anyone who desires to get the vaccine will have had ample opportunity. The CDC even states that current data suggests that COVID-19 vaccines offer protection against variants, or some variants. So in Texas, where I looked it up, we have about 5 million students in the public school system. So in Texas, since COVID started, there have been 45 fatalities in school-age children. And I mean, obviously, anything greater than 0 is horrible. But I wanted to kind of compare that to the fatalities related to the flu season. So I looked it up, and in 2019, there were 37 fatalities of school-age children that were due to flu and pneumonia. So really, honestly, they're roughly the same. COVID is statistically not a threat to the average healthy school-age child. And with the vaccine, is that 3 minutes? Oh, I wasn't talking fast enough. But with the vaccine, it's also not a threat to adults either.
Thank you, Ms. Seeley.
Mr. Miller, we're not getting the names of the speakers, so is there a way that that can be addressed?
I think they're working on it.
Thank you. Yeah, we need to get their names before we have our speakers speak, please.
Just 1 second.
I'm Caitlin. I'm Sage.
What's your last name, girls?
Cox. Knowles. All the kids are tired of wearing masks 8 hours straight at school. We need to breathe because we can't learn sitting at a computer 24/7. We all want to live peacefully, not in fear of COVID and wearing the mask. We all do not want people to live in fear. We want to be free from the masks. Please get rid of the masks. We all want it. Thank you. My case.
Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No.
All right, thank you very much for coming out. Is he with you? Okay. Thank you. Okay, Carolyn Sawyer, Flower Mound. I think you and your 9-year-old son are going to speak.
That's right. Hi, my name is Carolyn Sawaya. This is my son Joey. He's 9. He's huge, but he's just 9. And he's in 3rd grade at Wellington Elementary. And I had him home for 364 days. The last 9 months, or last 9 weeks of last year, as everyone was. And the beginning of this year, we went virtual, which, as you all know, was a giant disaster. So I said, I'm going to homeschool you till we figure this out. So I just sent him back a month ago because he was lonely. He was sad. Oh my gosh, my heart was hurting looking at his little face. But when I sent him back, he started complaining that his eye was hurting really bad. And then a few days later, it got red. So my husband took him to the urgent care at Children's Health PM Urgent Care. And when they got there, they saw Dr. Christine Richichier. And she said that she has been a pediatrician 27 years. And in the last 6 to 8 weeks, she has seen more eye infections that she has seen ever. And that, what's that? And she says it is from the masks. I can only assume it's because the air is escaping up here, going into our eyes. They're wearing it all day. So now he's back in. So we've had to choose between him being home and lonely or him going to school and wearing a mask. And it hurts. I have to give him antibiotics 4 times a day. I had to go to school and give it to him today. He has to take eye drops. He's crying. I'm sorry. But they hurt. And he's 9. So this has not been a positive experience. 2 weeks ago, he came home. He was sick with a virus. The masks are not protecting him from getting sick at school. It's a piece of tissue, but he got really sick anyway, and you missed school. Do you have something you want to say? Are you talking? Okay. So he said on the way over here, isn't it against the Constitution to make me wear something? So I said, yeah, I believe that it is. Then he said, I have the STAR test tomorrow. I would like to breathe. So that he said, we need air. He doesn't want to talk, so I wrote down what he said. He said, we need air to let our brains think and to do our best. So that is important. The teachers and the adults who work in the schools, they can be vaccinated against COVID-19. They would have been able to do that already based on the availability of the vaccine to them. But our children, now that y'all decided to make the plastic partitions, whatever they are, plexiglass, get taken down, when they had those, the children could take their masks off. Now they took them down, but the children are wearing their masks all day with, what, one break? Something like lunch and recess. They were better off with the partitions and not the masks. And his teacher says, well, leading by example, you can tell that she does not necessarily think, one of them anyway, that masks are great. So
Thank you. Thank you for coming out and speaking to us.
thank you for listening. And so this is his sign. My doctor said my eye infection is caused by wearing masks. Thank you for your time. Say thank you.
Thank you.
Aldi Myers. Hi, Ms. Myers. As a reminder, you have 3 minutes.
Minutes, okay. Okay, I got my speech ready. Okay, so I have a son that started kindergarten this past year, and he got robbed from having a normal school year. I also have twins that are scheduled to start kindergarten in the fall, and I refuse to put them through the same stress and trauma that my son went through and is still going through. My son gets to take off his mask during recess along with his classmates. They run and play together and definitely don't social distance when they're outside. But in class, they have to wear a mask with desk shields that his teacher refuses to take off. I had to contact the principal, the teacher, and then Mr. Miller to get that taken care of. Why does it take 3 people to enforce something that was that you guys sent out a letter and an email saying that, shields can come off. It's up to the student, but that didn't apply to my son. But then in his class, they have to wear a mask with desk shields that the teachers refuse to take down. Does this mean that COVID doesn't spread while playing outside? This is so ridiculous, to be outside and inside with the same kids, but one is dangerous and can spread the virus and one is not. Yet there hasn't been a breakout of COVID in his class. Why is that? If it's so contagious. I can't and won't allow my 3 kids to go to LSD school if there's even a chance that they will be required to wear a mask. I am ashamed that I allowed you guys to abuse one of my children like this for this long, and I won't allow it anymore. It's time, and it's been time. During the past mandate, Governor Abbott said ages 3 and under are not required to wear a mask, yet my kid was still forced to. This mandate ended March 10th, but here we are, still required to wear a mask. As I was waiting outside, Mr. Miller came outside and spoke briefly to a few parents. Mr. Miller, you said that you guys made a few mistakes throughout this school year, and one of them was that mask requirement on elementary school kids was a mistake. If you realize that this was a mistake, why aren't you guys doing something about it now? If I make a mistake, I will fix it now. I will not wait for another school year. If I fail or died, I'm not going to wait another year to start a new one. I will fix it. I will start over tomorrow. Why wait till June? Why not now? If you guys realize you made a mistake, end it now. Sorry. I'm done, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hi. Thank you all for listening to us. Mr. Miller, you mentioned outside earlier that one of the biggest mistakes that y'all made this year, thank you for admitting it was a mistake, that 10 and under was masked, because they were never meant to be. Our governor said they didn't have to. My children have never worn them in a supermarket or anything. You're right, it was a huge mistake. I'm here fighting for my child, my children. My 4th grader, in all the 5 years that she's been at her elementary school, has missed less than 10 days. And in her 4th grade year, she's missed 10 days of school, not because of COVID, not because of quarantine, but because of severe anxiety. She is now with a therapist. She sees our school counselor twice a week, and she doesn't want to go to school. She begs me not to go to school. She begs me not to go to school because she's scared not of COVID, because we are not scared of it at home. We are strong faith. She is scared because her teachers are scared. They're scared to lose their job. They're scared to, they're enforcing these rules on these children. If you don't wear your mask above your nose, you're going to run laps. If you don't wear it here or there, they're going to get COVID. They're scared to death. These children are scared. My daughter has never been diagnosed with anxiety, and this year she has severe anxiety. And if we don't change the mask rule, I will have to unenroll my children and put them at a school that will allow them to be children. And all I'm asking for you guys is to lift the mask mandate, no matter what happens, no matter with a variant, no matter with anything else, that we have to fight for our children's mental health. Children are not dying from this disease. They're just not. It's very rare. And I'm asking you that we are going to have lifelong issues of our children with anxieties and fear, and that's what we're instilling in our children. And that's just, I'm asking you guys to lift it and to make sure that next year that my child can go to school and get a fair education. That's all. Thank you.
Heather Irvin?
Ian, yes.
Ian?
I know
Okay.
it's hard. It's a hard one.
It is a hard one. You've got 3 minutes.
Thank you. First, I want to say thank you. I know this has been a tremendously difficult year, 15 months, making decisions, and you all have sought out wisdom from professionals, and I appreciate everything that you all and our staff and teachers have done. That being said, Tracy Scott Miller outside tonight, he said to us, it was a mistake to require children under 10 years old to wear masks. Governor Abbott did not put a mandate out for children under 10 to wear masks. Yet my 4 children in elementary school, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and fourth grade, have sat behind a plastic screen with a mask on their face 7 to 8 hours a day, all day long. And if you could see the inside of these masks when my kids get home, it is repulsive. They are brown, they have snot, boogers. It is disgusting. My poor children, I'm having to sanitize their masks every single day in order to send them to school the next day with trying to give them some sort of healthy material to put on their face. My bigger concern, I know I've probably already used almost all of my time, but my child has dyslexia. She was diagnosed with dyslexia last February, 1 month before our schools shut down. She then suffered through trying to do virtual learning with her special education teachers, which was a complete failure. She's now failing her grades. Her iStation scores, her benchmark scores came back significantly below grade level. However, her progress reports and her report cards, I'm getting A's and B's. And her dad and her stepdad and I have expressed concern to our teachers, to our principal many times. This doesn't add up. My child is struggling, and I can't go to school. I used to be very active. I was a volunteer. I was at the school weekly, reading to the class and talking with teachers, and I was an advocate for my kids' education. And this year, I feel completely disconnected. I feel like my kids, I drop them off, and I can't even pick them up to take them to, on my daughter's birthday, I couldn't pick her up to take her to Chick-fil-A in the drive-thru and take her back to school, which is like our thing. Yet I could take her to a doctor's office and sit in a waiting room with other sick kids and then take her back to school. How does that make sense? This is hurting my kids emotionally. They don't understand what is going on. And back to the main point, my daughter is struggling. She is failing. She is going into 5th grade and then to middle school, and I am scared to death for my child. And I don't know how to get access to her teachers and to team up with them and partner with them like I have. I want to sit at a desk and look at her iStation scores with the teacher side by side. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. We'll make sure somebody follows up with you on that.
Thank you.
Hey, Jenny, I'm going to let you say your last name, and you got 3 minutes.
Good evening, board members. My name is Jenny Radhakrishnan, and I'm the mother of 3 children. Our family moved to Texas last year from Colorado primarily to avoid policies like the one that you've mandated. Our 3 children right now are enrolled in private school to avoid the child abuse that you've inflicted on the countless children in this district. It's heartbreaking, truly. You have 5-year-olds being disciplined for not wearing their masks correctly. As a mother of a 5-year-old, I find that disgusting. And if you don't also find it disgusting, then you don't belong on this board. Mr. Miller, you said to a group of us outside, several have brought this up, that it was a mistake to force masks upon young children. If that was truly a mistake, then why isn't it being corrected? Why isn't it already corrected? This mistake needs to be fixed now. The science is not there. It's not. Each one of you is responsible for what the children of this district have had to endure this year. June 21st is not soon enough. My 5-year-old was enrolled to attend a summer camp, not part of the district. She was very excited. We're trying to get her to meet new kids. Well, the summer camp said that they're following LISD policy and would be forcing children, my 5-year-old daughter, to wear something over her face to attend summer camp. That's sad. And again, if you guys don't find that sad, there's something wrong with you. A 5-year-old little girl should not have to have something strapped over her face to attend summer camp. I wish you could have seen her tears when I told her that I couldn't go, that she could not go. That's something I shouldn't be forced to do as a mother. The policies of this district are reaching beyond the classroom, beyond just this district, and everyone's watching. This needs to end right now, not June 21st, right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. This is a sign from a Catholic painter in Flower Mound, refused to wear a sign to enter into the room, so this is, wear a mask to enter the room, and so this is their sign of protest, I guess. Okay, thank you. Jessica, I'll let you say your last name.
Yes.
You got 3 minutes.
It's Jessica Rafizadeh. That's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
Well, members of the board, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to speak and to hear our voices. As I begin, I want to first clarify that I'm not anti-mask. I'm pro-face and I'm pro-bodily sovereignty. If someone feels that a mask makes them more secure and more protected, then I encourage them to wear that and do what feels best for their body. And in that same belief, I want them to give me the opportunity to choose for my family and for myself what feels best for me. I feel that mask mandates are a slippery slope of government control over our bodies, and mandates take away our personal body sovereignty. If we readily give away our freedoms, we will soon have zero freedoms left to give. I realize I only have a few minutes to speak, so I want to kind of readjust what I have going on here because I probably would have gone over the 3 minutes. So I'll leave the scientific evidence and send it to you, but I want you to know that we were all born with an immune system, and that is our mask. It is born mask within all of us. And with that, we have the ability to fight infections, but by masking our children, we're taking away their immune systems. We're having them breathe in carbon dioxide, which at high levels is highly poisonous, causes headaches, drowsiness, not to mention more severe bacterial, fungal, and viral infections within their lungs. And we're making these children sick when they've been proven to not be spreaders of COVID. Yet we're making them wear masks, which there's yet to be one conclusive study showing the effectiveness of masks alone. So we're asking to do something that we're not even sure about, and I think that's unfair. And from a more personal standpoint, my 4-year-old son has a neurological disorder that affects his speech. It's called apraxia. And since he was 2, we've gone to 10-plus therapy appointments a week to get him to be able to speak. But how he's able to learn is to watch people's mouths and to be able to emulate them and see their faces. And so we've come so far with this struggle that is his, and he's gotten so much better, and every word he knows how to say, he fights for it. And yet I feel like now with these masks, we're making it so much harder for him to understand people, to emulate that, and to be able to communicate himself, because with a mask on, you can't understand anything he says. Obviously, that's a rare exception, thankfully, but I think that kids learn and are just, they grow up seeing people's emotions and learning how to react to things, and we're taking away that slate for their learning, and who are we to do that? Again, I thank you for taking the time, and I don't want to take more than my 3 minutes, so I guess I'll end and just say that I really hope that you take all this into consideration and make the best decision for our children and their futures, and think strongly about what happens today is very much impacting our future. In order for you guys to be able to see correctly, you don't have to see through my glasses, and if our masks are protecting us, then your mask should protect you, and I shouldn't have to wear one for them to be protective. But thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Jenny.
I appreciate it.
Kim, I'm going to let you say your last name, and then you've got 3 minutes.
It's just horrible handwriting. I'm sorry about that. My name's Kimberly Stevens. I'm a Lewisville resident and have been for over 20 years. We, as parents, have the authority over our children. We know when they're sick. We know when they're well. We know when they're happy. We know when they're unhappy. This year, LISD has usurped that authority, from us. You have taken our children and sacrificed their well-being on the altar of wokeism. I'm going to talk right now about how unhealthy masks are, but I will tell you, I am not anti-mask. I am pro whatever your choice is, and my choice for my child is that he be able to make that choice at 18 years old. There are no studies, none, and I have read more medical journals in the past year than I have read history books, and I have a master's in history. There are no studies showing that masks are safe on children. Currently, masks are emergency use authorization under FDA authority. They are not approved fully for the use in general public. There are no safety studies on them. There are no studies showing masks are safe for adults. Surgeons spend their time in ORs
that are cold, that are filtered, that have extra oxygen pumped into them. Surgeons get deoxygenated after 2-hour-long surgeries. There are studies on this from 2009. Those studies were done because they were moving towards having surgeons wear shields instead of masks because of that deoxygenation. It causes their decisions to become poorer over long periods of surgery. Masks, after 20 minutes, are coated in toxins and bacteria that are then inhaled directly to the lungs. Respiration is a waste process, just like defecation, urination, and perspiration. When you exhale, you're not just exhaling CO2. You're exhaling mold, you're exhaling pollen, dirt, dust, bacteria, and a number of ethyl alcohols, et cetera, that I won't go into here. But that is all getting caught on those masks, and then it is kept there so that it can be sucked back into the lungs, nasal passages, and mouths of our children. Pediatricians in this area will tell you that they have seen more infections of the mouth, nose, sinuses, and lungs this year than they have seen in their entire careers. And it's because you're forcing our children for 7 hours a day, 5 days a week, to wear these filthy diapers on their faces. If we wrapped a tree in a saran wrap for a year, it would damage that tree. What are we doing to our children's brains, bones, and organs that are still developing?
Thank you, Kim.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
And I will not say thank you.
Well, I'm going to struggle with this one too, so I'm going to let you say your name, and you've got 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Landy Martin. Nice to meet you. Thank you for the time to speak. I'm a certified holistic health coach and a small business owner here, and I have a 14-year-old who's missed out on his 8th grade year due to this mask mandate. He's unable to wear a mask. He went into anaphylactic shock following a DTaP vaccination. He has been told he cannot do the STAR test without a mask pulled over his nose. He's been bullied by upperclassmen when he went to participate in band for not having a mask all the way over his nose. He went from being an A student to failing several classes. And so I just have a few questions for you guys really today. Where is the reputable medical science and evidence that supports healthy children wearing masks to prevent illness? Would you share with me the actual science, not links to the CDC, Fauci, or the State Health Board, that you have received regarding the efficacy of healthy children wearing masks? Because I have plenty of studies that show masks do not work and they are harmful. Why are you breaking the law by allowing local health emergency to continue when there are no grounds to do so? Can you explain why you're violating my child's religious rights and his right to an equal education because he won't wear a mask? Can you tell me why you support my child being segregated, discriminated against, bullied for not wearing a mask? Why do you condone discrimination against those with medical conditions who cannot hear people who are wearing a mask? Why do you condone and support masking children when all the evidence presented and established science shows that it's psychologically and physically harmful to wear a mask? Are you ensuring that it is sterile and hygienic each time a mask is removed or put back on and cleaned and disposed of between each interaction as per the CDC guidelines and the instructions on the box, which also says the masks do not work to prevent the spread of any disease? Are you prepared to face legal action and criminal charges for being an accessory to intimidation and assault by promoting the documented health-harming results of forcing our children to wear masks? This is child abuse. It's time for it to stop. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Lisa White?
Yes.
Lisa, you've got 3 minutes.
Thank you. I didn't really come here prepared to say very much, but I will say that I'm a registered nurse. And I've been a nurse for probably almost 30 years now. Actually, probably 25. I haven't counted it. But there's absolutely zero medical documentation, scientific documentation that supports our children having to wear these masks. These masks are filthy by the end of the day. You've already heard this. You've already heard that the lady before me explain about all the things, like, for example, a doctor, a surgeon, they actually take measures so that they have less hypoxia, that's less, so that they are not so deoxygenated. What they do is they chill the operative room, and then they also do what they can to circulate the air, because they have scientifically proven that, yes, it causes hypoxia to wear a mask. So we're doing this. This is being done and has been done to our children for the past year. And where do you draw the line? I mean, what right do any of you guys have? What study, what support do you have that shows that you are actually accomplishing anything good? To me, this is abusive, and it's harmful to their health. It's not going to prevent diseases being spread. It's going to actually increase diseases, and it also causes depression, stress, anxiety. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Christy Mitten,
Yes.
you have 3 minutes.
Hey, sorry, I'm going to get kind of emotional. I have a 6-year-old daughter in the school district, and she used to be like the happiest, bubbliest kid. I mean, she's a social butterfly and everything. And I have watched over this last year when she is not allowed to be near her friends. Half the time I have to force her to go to school because she cries and says she doesn't want to go because she has to give her friends secret hugs in the bathroom because she's afraid she'll get in trouble for being in contact with them. The shields that they have on their desks. Recently, my daughter's broke at school, and she was told that they couldn't replace it, that they don't have anymore. And I was thinking, well, that's good. I mean, they're optional anyways. And besides, she has come home 4 times this year after having sliced her hand open on those shields. But she started crying because she said if she doesn't have the shield up, she can't take mask breaks during class anymore. This is a 6-year-old. So she was crying. So I said, well, maybe if when you go to the bathroom, if you're alone in the hallway, take your mask off. And she freaked out and said, I can't. I'll get in trouble. They have cameras. They'll see. I mean, this is a 6-year-old in school, and she is terrified of getting in trouble for not wearing a mask. She is not afraid of anything else. She takes gymnastics. She does not wear a mask the entire time. She takes ice skating. She does not wear a mask the entire time. She doesn't wear it when we go to the grocery store, when we go to dinner. I don't wear it either. We are not afraid of the virus, of any of this. I am afraid of what is happening to my daughter. I am afraid of how upset she is all the time, how much she cries at home. She used to love school, and now she hates going. But the alternative is, what am I supposed to tell her? Stay home? Don't see anybody at all? I mean, it was literally an option. Either you wear the mask at school or you have to stay home. Virtual is not an option for us. It is not okay for her. She was going literally crazy when we were stuck at home having to do virtual at the end of last year. During the summer, we were pretty much stuck at home because everything was closed. And when the new year began, she kept asking me, is this how it's going to be? Is this it? And I had to just tell her that, well, hopefully Hopefully we can get back to normal, because this is not normal and this is not okay for our children. Okay. Anyways, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Tiffany Fowler. You have 3 minutes.
This is an official notification of your violations. Your noncompliance signifies you're under a formal agreement of acceptance, and if you fail to comply, you are abusing your power by creating a law or mandate, rule or policy, or adopt a rule or policy when you have no authority to do so. This includes, and not limited to, all schools, churches, small businesses, and nature settings, mandating sovereign, healthy people in a county to stay home and or issue a mask mandate. County officials, school boards, health departments, mayors, judges, commissioners, justices of the peace, and governors do not have the legal authority to create laws and or mandates. They are administrators of state agencies, not lawmakers. Shame on you for not upholding your oath to the Constitution. Shame on you for being complicit in child abuse and neglect for an entire year. If the shoe was on the other foot, all the parents would have already been arrested and stood before a judge and found guilty. You are guilty. Any court, government, or government officer or school board member who acts in violation of or opposition to or contradiction of these laws by his or her own actions commits treason and invokes the self-executing Section 3 of the 14th Amendment and is hereby demanded to vacate his or her office immediately. No claim of an emergency, executive orders, health orders, or city ordinances excuse you from violating the laws you set forth. We set forth in this notice you are in violation of at least 5 federal laws and 12 Texas state laws, including the First Amendment and the Fourth Amendment, U.S. Title 42, Title 52, the Department of Education, Section 504, Title 10, U.S. Code 1094, Title 18, numerous codes, Texas Constitution, Article 1, Section 3, 6, and 8, Texas Occupational Code, practicing medicine without a license, Section 1.5.159, Texas Penal Code 37.1, Texas Human Resources Code 121.003A, Texas Civil Code 5121.003C and D, the Texas Labor Code 21.05, Texas Penal Code 20.02, 42.01A, 22.01, 42.07. You are hereby notified of a potential citizen's arrest for violations of the above laws under Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 14.01, which authorizes a private person to make a citizen's arrest in Texas. Shame on every one of you.
Good evening.
Good evening. Would you state your name for us? And you've got 3 minutes.
Sure will. My name is Muriel Eby. I'm also known as Coach Eby. I work at Donald Elementary. I've worked in this district for 21 years. I teach elementary PE. I love my job. I love this district. Really frustrated with some things. I would like to start with enough. No more masks. I work in it every day. I see these children every day. It's breaking their spirits. It's breaking physically, emotionally, spiritually. Have you worn a mask for 6 hours straight? 7 hours straight? Have you done it? All day long. Have you been in a school with them? Have you really been in there all day long? Okay? Enough. This is against our First Amendment rights, our right to breathe freely. Okay? You are harming our children. This is child abuse. No more masks. Take them off today. Children are depressed. They're having anxiety. They have fear. Some children don't even know what empathy is. They can't read facial expressions. My own children, which I can go into that in a second, I have 3 of my own boys in this district, and they have been through wonderful schools. This year is absolutely insane. Besides the mental health of it, I can tell you I've helped a kid who keeps getting this recurring sty infections in his eye, 3rd grader. There was a teacher that showed me today, thank you for speaking. Teachers are scared to speak out. She has a rash all over her face, probably has MRSA or staph infection, bacteria infections. I mean, I tell the kid, I'm not a doctor, but definitely have a bachelor in science and kinesiology, know a lot about the body. There's a lot of different infections that kids are getting from the masks. They're hurting our children, okay? I see it every day. I work in it every day. Stop listening to the CDC. That's a joke. The Denton, if you're just listening to our Denton Health Department, how about you start researching, ask the pediatricians. There's many, many, many pediatricians they're like, whoa, I've never seen so many of these different infections in these children in the last 6, 9, 10 months. My own children, this is my youngest one. My first one is a senior. He graduated in December, and he said, I cannot stand school. I am done. It's a prison. There's no social. Why go? So, he's done. He graduated in December, going on. My other one, he went to virtual after Christmas. He's like, I'm going to lose it on the teachers. They harass me every day. They tell me to pull it up. He's like, I can't breathe. It's horrible. He already has depression. Awesome. He's on Lexapro. So that's a whole nother thing. This one right here, we wanted him to be in person because kids don't learn in virtual. It is a mess. We made him go the whole time. He's had detention at school for having trouble. He's been harassed by teachers. He's bullied by other students, and there's so much I could tell you. I've filed many grievances with this. Indoctrination from a mask. Pledge in middle school, yes, the same. Basically, let me leave you with this. Did you know, which I end this with my own children, all the kids at school, every class, did you know facts? Did you know there's 4 ways to get rid of toxins in your body? Urination, feces, sweat, exhaling your CO2. Google it.
Very much coming to
Thank
speak
you.
to us. Thank you.
Take them off.
We're on consent items. Would someone like to make a motion?
Mr. Miller, I would like to pull an item. Sorry.
Oh. You want to pull an item? You want to pull an item?
Yeah.
You want to pull an item? Okay. All right. Ms. Sells?
Yes. I'd like to pull K2C.
Get at 2.C.
And I know board protocol is that you were to notify the president, but I didn't know who to notify.
Okay.
So thank you.
Ms. Bosnick?
I did notify both you and the other candidate that I was also pulling K2C.
K2C?
K2B.
K2B. You sure you don't want to go for K2C?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. So since K2C was first, Ms. Sells?
Well, let's.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I'll make the motion to approve all except for K2C and K2B if you'd like.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I move that the board approve the consent agenda items as recommended by administration with the exception of the following items pulled for separate consideration, K2C and K2B.
Ms. Sells' motion, second.
Second.
Ms. Lasan? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Ms. Sells, your first item.
Okay, I move that the board approve the consent agenda item K2C as recommended by administration.
Second.
Second. Who did you take on the second?
Prosnick.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, discussion?
I just wanted to acknowledge that Community Schools in North Texas is here tonight, and I just wanted to say thank you for the work that is done in our district, and thank you for allowing us as board members to be mentors to students within your organization. I've had my mentee since the 4th grade, and she will be now going into the 9th grade in high school. And it is emotional for me as it was for my own children moving on to high school. And so I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you for being here tonight. So thank you.
Thank you, Ann. Anybody else?
Yes. Yes, I actually wanted to discuss one of the things that Communities in Schools is doing, which is part of that 21st Century Grant with some of our, will be probably 440 students this year, and the extra work and the intervention and the targeting that goes on. It doesn't just happen academically. It happens for the whole child, and it happens at some of our campuses where there's the greatest need. And I want to thank you and your staff for standing in that gap and for making sure that some of these magic middle kids, as I call them, get the support that they need. I will say it as long as there is breath in my body. You can never have too many cheerleaders in your life. You can never have too many people have your back. And to me, that is what Communities in Schools does. That is what our teachers do. It is what I think every staff member across this district does. But I thank you for the extra support that you give our students. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I think your work is valuable. And I think that when you look at the metrics of it, a 99% success rate, I don't know anyone else who has that kind of a legacy. So thank you.
Ms. Poppy, thank you for a great event the other day. I had to join virtual because I had a contractor at the house, but I was able to see what was going on and to bid on a few things. I got outbid, which is interesting. The amount of money people are going to pay to go to, Marty B's and some of these other places. Where were the other places that he owns? But anyway, people pay good money to go to those things, and so I trust it was a success for you as well. All right, with that, I'll take. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next item.
I move that the board approve consent agenda item K2B as recommended by administration.
Do I have a second? Discussion?
I just wanted to publicly thank the city of Lewisville for the interlocal grant agreement that they gave the LISD $150,000. And greatly appreciate it. That's all I wanted to do. Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you. With that, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Okay, Dr. Rogers, we'll move on to information items, I believe.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Board, in front of you, under information items, you have an item about next year's regular board meetings. And thanks to the great work of Ms. Riggle, you can see that the second Monday, of course, falls on Columbus Day. That's pretty normal, and so we've scheduled that for the following Monday. And then spring break, of course, happens in the middle of March, and so we've rescheduled that. And other than that, we'll have regular board meetings on the second Monday. So that is an information item. It won't come back. It's not something for the board to vote on. It's just to notify you. And of course, Ms. Riggle, I promise you, we'll invite you to all of them. So thank you.
Discussion item, Mr. Young's monthly financial report, including the bond report and the monthly investment summary. Ms. Cox.
Thank you, Mr. Youngs. I just have a quick question regarding the food service budget. Do you foresee any changes if they do continue the free lunch for all students, changes that we might have to make in the budget for next year? Okay, thank you.
Mr. May I? Sure. With respect to the discussion we had last week with the 10-cent increase or whatever it was, that to Ms. Cox's point, so the monies that would flow to us would be based on those numbers that were approved, and so there would be the allocation model, meaning all kids are covered or whatever that was, will be based on the increased rates that we have put forward. I think so. I mean, it's somewhat mute, except for the fact that there are kids who do buy meals from a la carte, and those prices would be would be in effect for those students. That wouldn't be in effect for the free and sub. Got it. Thank you. Are there any questions? Okay, if there are no other questions, if there's no other business, the meeting is adjourned. The time is 8:59.
Thank y'all very much.